Hello, and welcome to another episode of Meandering, the series in which I meander around maps, basically reviewing them because a friend of mine asked me to. If you are not that friend of mine and you find this video, I hope you enjoy it. Today I'm looking at Sunrise, maps of Japan, still kind of a work in progress, got some gray box textures, but it's fine. Looking at the minimap, it appears to be the four square layout. Also looking at the minimap, it appears to be kind of misaligned with the actual player. We're going to look at, it's B on the minimap, but looking at these textures, these decals, it's actually A. We have this upper route, which I'm assuming leads to mid. I'm trying to think of this map from what I see here. So if I was straight, that's So this leads to mid. This thing that I'm standing at is here. I don't know if you can see my cursor on the recording, but this leads to B, and also some sort of connection to mid on the right. No. Okay, maybe I'm just terrible at reading maps. We're gonna go B through the longest looking route. Got this snail. Can not boost, but you can jump peak if you so felt like. All of this appears to be clicked. Yeah, I would assume so. You can stand on this though if you really wanted to for an awkward angle. Got this little pole to stand on too. Maybe you can get a boost to peek over if you do it on this pole. That's funny. Probably not what was intended with that, but it's something you can do. Coming out onto site, you got this little close right angle to be mindful of, as well as this tiny left. You got sushi bar, bit of a custom texture and whatnot. That's cool. Oh, got some aesthetics here, and this. Okay, I was gonna see if this led to anywhere that could maybe have a flash be thrown through. So someone who's playing this area, who's exposed to that, but isn't really thinking about it, could maybe get flashed. But no, the sushi bar kind of wraps around site, kind of like a back CT area. Interesting. You can scale up behind this little blue wall, and you have this under route, which we'll think about later. Can we open this door? No. We cannot break this window either, it's just there. Theoretically, you can, I guess? Yeah, so I just sprayed on this guy who's playing around the yellow dumpster. So, you could probably find more specific wallbang lineups to clear out parts of the site. Speaking of parts, so this goes under here. Could I wallbang through this? Because there's could not wallbang through that. That would be funny though. See, we have this hell area, which, for my curiosity, I gotta see. This leads to mid. Wait, is this the... Oh, that's what I thought on the mini-map. Okay, so there is... I can read maps, it's just verticality that isn't very clearly shown, because this is, once again, kind of an older map, so it uses that gray style. So yeah, you can go long, or you can go up here, which feels kind of awkward. Jump on this with an alternative angle, and I don't... This just feels weird to have, but it's fine. This makes it so that the area is thinner, that you can't walk around it. It just feels weird. Not bad, just weird. You can jump on this as well, a bit of an off angle. And this is the other way to be, kind of up here. And yeah, we can... I dislike how when I jumped I hit that little ceiling thing and I can kind of clip through it. But I have this pipe, which lets you get onto this little electrical box, which lets you get onto this brush. So yeah, as a CT as well, so you can do this movement. It's interesting that they allow that. Maybe this little stain. For a moment I thought it was like a rope and I could climb it, like from this angle, that's what I thought. But yeah, interesting. So, 2 routes for T's to come through. I gotta worry about this initial sushi bar. That's treated kind of like a back CT. This is not accessible at all. Yeah, it just kind of felt like it was. And so this is CT. Got it. So if this is CT, we set to the right. And what the hell? We have a sewer area. We'll look at all that later. So, interesting. I was thinking that CTs would have some sort of back route also into this kind of, into sushi bar, right? I kind of want to split this into like, this is bar, and then this is something else, like printer or office. This is just how I want to, distinguish the areas, but that's just me. And I'll just do that for the rest of this, call that office in this bar. But I thought there would be something from CT back around that lets you get into office. But no, it's just one CT route that's going to get smoked every time. You have this thing to stand on the scaffolding for some alternative angles to fight kind of more aggressively on this. So you could get like an early, get posted here with an off, and then, catch a T as it's swinging around this. Maybe you might want to go in and jump peek real quick and see if someone's there. Maybe even a little bit of a boost real quick, where you boost here, and then you crouch, you look down, so that way your head doesn't. Oh, your head still pokes over. Okay, never mind. Well, you would boost here, so that way you aren't in vision, and then you swing, and then you peek, and then you'd kill anyone playing. Oh, they're lower down. I was looking at the upper area. So actually, you can still see it, but it's not as deep of an angle as I was thinking for a second from this T perspective. Interesting. Jump peeking it might be a little harder to quick spot then. There's 3 bots. Okay. Yeah, jump peeking it, you can spot it, but it's... Oh, they got the wood to make it easier to stand out as well. Can you crouch under here? No, it's all properly clipped. Alright, so this is site. We got this as a solid piece of cover to play around. That's about it. Might be playing kind of around this under thing. If you can hold control of this underpass space as a CT to stop T's from scaling up, then this might be something to play around. Seems like it would be kind of hard to flash someone off of this. Yeah, when you're coming in, you gotta be mindful about this close left and close right angle as well. Blue wall and this kind of ninja-ish spot, not really a proper ninja. Could also be posted here with an op, back up, throw a high flash, take another swing. Seems like what I would want to do from a CT perspective. I like how there's all this movement options, all these movement options to allow you to get up to here. And just playing close here is a thing. Interesting, very interesting. Site. If I were to utilize smokes, it's just I smoke off this, and I have sight pretty much. I just had to clear out office and sushi, which doesn't seem all too bad. It seems like a strong off spot too. Just take kind of a shot around like here. This is like a deep angle that you get, like a very deep angle that you get. Oh my! I wonder what the timing is for that. I'm assuming, like, I feel like a T should be able to get posted on this. I'll do timings properly in a bit, but just looking at it, it feels like a T can reach that angle first and get posted on a CT. So CT would not be holding like this, they probably hold more like this. Let someone walk into their crosshair, and then try and fall back. And then you can play around this office area, swing, peek around, etc. It'd be nice if there was windows up here to throw utility through, but not necessary. That's all of A and then some. If I were to adjust anything about this side, I don't think there is anything. It does feel a bit open in this area. Maybe you might want a box here, but it's not like essential. This also kind of cuts, adjusts this angle that I was talking about earlier for offers, and you could peek over this just by jumping onto this monster. So I just think this creates more stuff for both sides to play around. For CT side, right, like this is just another corner that has to be dealt with, and as a T, as I'm scaling up, as I'm trying to take a fight on maybe a CT position, I can't get swung as easily by a guy from office, if there was someone here. And I think that makes it more interesting to scale. Yeah, that's, if I had to make a change, that's what it would be. It's just not necessary in any way, shape, or form, but yeah, that's just what I was thinking about. Maybe put something here. This area feels like it is missing some form of off-angle cover or something. It just feels like a place I don't want to stand there. I'd much rather be standing, playing around this, even if this barrel wasn't here, right? So just creating a slight reason to exist more in this area, so that way, like T's post plant could choose to play around this, right? It's not the strongest angle, but it's an angle. Just giving them a bit more. So yeah, that is all of A from, well, B on the minimap, A as the actual, what the map creator wanted it to be. From the T perspective, thinking about it a bit more from the CT perspective, kind of look at that. This ain't definitely going to be a very big part of this. I'm just kind of playing posted around here. Get rid of this thing. Jumping on it is cool, but it is kind of a weird, just physical thing to bump into, and it also interferes with like this angle that is kind of like the main fight you're taking. I don't know. I think it's necessary because I'm posted here as an operator. Right, I take a shot, I go to the right, and having that pull there just feels awkward. I wonder how aggressive CTs can get in here with the smoke molly to maybe be able to jump up and play like tight on this and hold more close. So look at that when it's time. Time to look at the other route. So come out of T-spawn. Have this option of an upper. This appears to be mid. This is clipped. Okay, yeah, that's fair. If for a moment I felt like it might not be, and I would be able to walk on this, and it would be funny. Probably not good for gameplay, but funny. Yeah, this is mid. We'll look at that later. This is B. Let's see. Sorry, I had my brother come in and ask me something, so I had to mute. And he used some certain words that a friend of mine knows. Anyways, yeah, where was I? I was looking at the route to V. Very nice aesthetics. We got this to jump peek on. You can actually jump onto it, even though it visually looks like you can, but you can jump peek the site. So you're coming around this long way over this bridge. This bridge has a bit of a curvature to it for elevation. So that's something to think about for head level. Might need to adjust it a bit as you're coming across. Are these windows breakable? No. You can get a boost going to peer through some of these windows. We can also peer into some no draw that's in there, which is fine, I guess. It's not gonna, ruin everything. But we do have some angles to play around through those windows. So wait, let me think about the plantable zone. I didn't talk about the plant site not all over there. I'll come back to it. Oh. So you can plant like here. This feels like default. What is this? Is this mid? Yes, it is mid. Well, both mid routes are like staircases that lead up to somewhere that are very windy. Yeah. Interesting. Coming back to mid later. Yeah, so this route to B feels very long. Come around here. We jump peeking around this, probably throwing some utility as well, like a good old fashioned running throw molly that good at the game would probably like land around here. Probably get a smoke to land for the CT area. You got some no draw. No, it's not no draw. I don't know why I thought it was. I'm stupid. It's very clearly just a window that you could throw utility through. So if I'm stuck here, I can throw a flash and peek with it. That's interesting. And I could I like boost for an angle? I could boost it that I could peer through this gate. That is funny. And there's LSD in this corner. Yeah. Alright. That probably looks like terrible on YouTube with compression. But you can boost here for an angle through this gate on retake if you're scared of someone playing this area. That is interesting. I feel like more often than not they're going to want to actually play a more real angle like this, but as a T. But anyway, speaking of as a T, I haven't talked too much about actually taking the site. There's this fake angle on the right because, you can clear it from over here. I guess it's kind of an early aggressive peak and you have this to play around this cover. I would respect someone so much if they were to play this like a ninja spot. That would be so good. Just to like, wait, let them pass because I already looked here. And now I'm just gonna be running, like looking at actual sight. We have this little staircase through this tight little corner. I'm like so worried about this tight little corner. As opposed to some guy who's just standing here staring at a wall. Like, that's not a real spot. It's funny. Yeah, gotta clear that. Probably with a bounced molly. Sort of. Oh, no, with the way this is curved, you couldn't bounce the molly super easily. Yeah, not bad. Molly's my own route. Probably be something like this. Yeah, that's how you would molly it. But probably, like, better. This is a lineup, but that's a corner you're gonna want to clear. This is a place that leads to mid, so if you have pressure there, they'll be a bit more scared and respectful of this. The actual site itself, I think it was just a guy posted with an op playing around the actual hut on site, maybe in this backside area. This backside area, which, speaking of, you can get onto this somehow with the boost. And you can safely boost back here if you wanted to, and then this allows you to, also you could boost here with the player, but we're not going to worry about that. What is that down there? Is that the skybox? No. Doesn't look like... I'm not gonna worry about it. But yeah, you can boost CPs here. This is an angle to be mindful of as a T coming in. I feel like it's a very open site. I throw like a high flash behind, and then I scale with it, and then boom. I take so much control. I just need to like get a smoke that lands around here, and a smoke that lands around like, I don't know, here. Those two smokes, and I can scale so hard on the site I just need a couple flashes, and then the only angle I have to worry about is someone kind of trying to jiggle around this box, right? Not box, but this half wall. And I feel like that is very easy to either molly or nade stack if you wanted to. Yo, some mollies. There's definitely utility to throw for this. Probably bounce it off of this tree, actually. It's fine. I won't think too much about it, but yeah, this site feels actually pretty easy for a T to take. Very open, very easy to do utility. CTs have the ability to like throw smokes and mollies on this bridge because it's their only entrance, but at the same time, you got people like jump peeking on T side, and also able to boost, right, for proper angles onto the site itself. Probably on the right, you don't get the same. Let me. On the right, you don't get the same amount of visibility due to this bush, but I'm assuming that that might make it easier in some ways to clear stuff out because it lets you isolate the fights better. Like I can peek this, right? See if anyone's kind of jiggling around that box. I can quickly jump peek if I get this guy to stand more to the left, right? So like here. Okay, we're gonna. I hate having more than one bot. If I do bot underscore kick, will that just bring one? And then I do bot underscore add? Yes, okay, that's perfect. I would like stand here, and this gives me the angle into CT, which is like perfect. If I have this guy crouch, yeah, and then I boost behind like on this side, so that way I'm not visible. And then I can peek, and boom, I get a vision of CT. I could not have the lineup and just wing this molly and someone flank this general area. Very easy to scale into the site with that. And that is B from the T perspective. From a CT, I actually feel like I talked about it quite a bit already. Play around this, play this cheeky angle, got an op posted around here, maybe jiggling around this, fighting. I don't really see much of a reason to play this area aside from if you're boosted and you want to do something funny, because otherwise you are just staying like, I accept death. You do not want to show presence, you just want to hide here, and even if you do that, you can get seen very easily, like with angle advantage as someone is peeking around and clearing sight. These windows are funny. I wonder if T could leverage them as much. Oh, you could do something from here and maybe jump peek to see this area. That's funny. As a T, you're just gonna boost here post plant, and then you can maybe peer into something. No, you can't. Oh wait, this guy's so crouched. That's why. No, cannot get the angle that I thought you could. Maybe if it's here? Nope. You can jump peek it at least for a bit of info, but you can't actually get a proper angle, which is for the better. Let me look at this more from the CT perspective. So yeah, you just go down here. Cool. Alright, it's time to look at mid from the T side. I come out here, I go take a right, come out, bottom mid. As opposed to going to be, can I jump on this ledge? No, it's all clipped. It would be nice to have this alternative way to peek along this, but it's fine that there's not. Throw a high flash swing. We got this under area with this little elevator cubby. Interesting, is this the ladder? No, this is the staircase up to a place I've never seen, with a door that doesn't lead anywhere. And then there's this ladder that leads to, what the, wait, the ladder leads to, here. Okay. That's why there was like this awkward room to peek around. So as a T, you can like, you can't boost. What? Wait, that's crazy. Am I just like bad at movement? Or can you actually just cannot boost onto that ladder? Is this ladder even? It is a ladder. Interesting. So this is just like a way for CTs to quickly one-way drop into mid, into their death. And if I just like walk off, I'm assuming if I go down the ladder, no fall damage, right? If I were to ignore this ladder and just like drop, that's a good chunk of health loss. So that's one way to beat this. So this is how CTs can get here fast for a better timing. I see. Because otherwise they had to take this extremely long staircase, which would take a lot longer as opposed to just going down quickly. And if you're actually like good at movement, then you could probably like jump off and catch yourself on the ladder. That might actually take longer the way I did it, but it's definitely possible. Oh, there's an off angle here. No? Oh, it's clipped weirdly. I was just thinking about the proposed plant. how you could maybe, like, if you came up through the ladder. Oh, but you can't even come up through the ladder, though. Oh, well. There's just funnies in this general area. Real quick, I forgot to mention, you got, like, headshots as you peek. Headshot angles, because they're both staircases. So that's interesting for retake situations. So, I'm looking a lot more at CT side than the actual part when I'm taking a peek at this mid. We got windows that actually lead. Yeah, the bullets go through. And so you could, like, properly wallbang. So you could get, like, posted here and be like, get spam where people would come out of. And I guess as a T you could try and take shots, but I don't really think that you're likely going to catch anyone playing in this area. Interesting. Because, you know, most people are just going to take a ladder. The only time you're going to find a CT here is if they were specifically going for wall bangs. Very interesting. So I looked at mid to like CT. Let's look at mid to A. You just go up this thing on your left, and we'd already kind of covered it earlier into E box, I guess we'll call it, because it's an electrical box. Or you can go this way, and more wallbang potential here. I don't know how much of an effect it'll have, but it exists. I'd probably just like stand around this area and spam, trying to hit someone going through into E-box. But this is very unlikely. So you can come through here. Not really a great call out for this in my mind. I want to say like tiles, because there's, you know, a tiled pattern here. It's not very unique, but helps to the calm. Pretty standard 4-square layout. I don't have much else to say about the layout. I talked about how I might adjust B, right, with this box. That's like the one thing that I really had to say. And maybe this barrel to make this more of like a real angle to play. Just, you know, honestly, like you could place one barrel here, and I think this makes this better because you can isolate this, and this guy can like hide and has full body cover to play off of. I think it leads to a more interesting thing. You can jump peek real quick if, you know, you planted it. Speaking of planting, you can plant here, that's funny. If you want to plant open, it'd probably be like, this is open and safe. This is more open but less safe, I think. Yeah. But this is one of the best plants right here. Yeah, let's sidetrack. But yeah, I don't really have much to say to improve the site. It's just minor things that I think might make it better, but aren't objectively good or bad. This sushi area and office area are nice. I would maybe consider adding another route, like around back here into this office. You know, cover this up, like, you know, anything, so you can't actually see. But it would be like you can come out through here, make this door a little wider, perhaps. And then, or make it a squeaky. You could actually work as a squeaky, and then on retake you have another way in. Instead of just this like one CT area, you could have, you know, one route through here, as well as another route through here into that. And I think that makes this area more dynamic. Maybe having the area here would lead to a long angle on this, so maybe not just have it here. This leads to more dynamic retakes, because right now it seems like there's one route, very difficult to retake. No, there's wallbang windows here. So you could wallbang through here, maybe. I doubt it. Oh. This doesn't actually wallbang, does it? Oh, it does, but you wouldn't really do it. You can boost on this, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. It would be very... Like, wait, why won't he crouch? Because he's in the wall. He's in the wall again. There we go. But yeah, you can jump onto this, and then you float because of how clipping works on this model. But this is a model, right? But he made it bright white for some reason. I swear... Like, I've seen this on Dupa before, and it was blue. The guy making this one knows what Dupa is, or at least I hope he remembers. This is an angle that you can stand on. I don't know if it's on purpose that this has collisions. Because, you know, you can... Oh, wait, is it... This... I'm bad at movement. You could get onto this, and I'm assuming that's not intentional. Yeah, this doesn't feel intentional. Yeah, none of this is not intentional. But it would be funny, maybe, a little bit. I for a moment thought, hey, utility window, but no, it's just aesthetic window, which is fine. But, yeah, this is what I would do to this site. That is A. And real quick, what would I do to B site? There isn't much that I would think of other than maybe considering creating a route from this gate to be deeper in as like an angle to play. You know, it'd be like I'm building a wall to explain my point. It'd be like a little tiny cubby, right? And imagine all these barrels are like taller. And you'd play in here. It wouldn't be a very strong angle, but it would be a place mostly for post plant. And then this area that you could like peek over, right? So someone could use it to throw utility, or they could quickly like attempt to jump spot you, right? I think that there's some potential. Let me uncrouch. He's uncrouched, right? So they could like jump spot. I think that there's some interesting shenaniganery that could happen with that. And on site itself, I think we could use just a bit of cover here. Like how I would probably place it like this, like as I'm coming out. Wait, 7. This leaves like a cubby for someone to play around, but it's just a bit more cover as you're coming out. It makes this angle a bit different as opposed to being this wide. If I had to make a change, this would be it, because it still leaves this cover to play around, but it's not as strong of an angle. They technically have more cover, but it's actually worse. And this would be filled with dev_black, of course, so you could get the funny cheese angle from here. Regardless of how funny it is, it's just not great for gameplay. And I would maybe consider even having some sort of like box to play around as you come out of this, because right now it just feels kind of bland. Maybe place it in a bit more of a normal manner, but I mean, I already did it once, so maybe not a headshot angle, but something like that could work. I'm just kind of spitballing. None of these changes need to happen. They'd just be cool to allow for more angles. Let's look at timings, but first, let me do MP_warmup time 900 to give us a bit more time. Starting on T side, I'm going to rush the right, which is B. 1454. That tree popped in at a weird time. Peeking this at 44. And I'm peeking sight at 41. So I started at 54, so 10 to like see this bridge, and then 13 in total to actually like peek this angle, and probably like 1, 2 more to get on here at 15. Let's look at that from the CT perspective. Started at 21. Alright, so I'd be halfway up this bridge as a T is swinging me. So I could easily, choose to get into this corner, or I could maybe do this funny. But I've made noise getting there. Can tuck behind this. Be good contact point. I think it gives T's enough space, but not too much. It gives CT's options, and you're gonna want to molly smoke this, etc. It's interesting. I like it. But also with the way the timings work, I think you could like jump peek this. Like you could probably get like to here, and then you could quickly jump peek to get an idea of what the CT's up to. Like I'd be like that, and I'd get a quick bit of information if I wanted to. And maybe if that becomes commonplace, a CT could like sit around here and play dot time. Let's take a look at the timing for the outbreak on set. 17. I'm holding this like long angle in 7 seconds. I need to see how that affects T's. Starting at 01. Okay, so they actually... That looked like I had a really good T-spawn that time. Yeah, because they can spawn up to here, but I spawned like here. With the best CT spawn, sorry? I said T earlier. You could like peek this and have a hold on a T, especially if they have a bad spawn. But I'm assuming with good spawns and whatnot, the timing is going to be that a T can post here for like a split second. So there's probably going to be like, kind of like Dust 2, long doors where you're spamming flashes and mollies over in an attempt to take some space in this general area. Very interesting contact point. And this clearly gives a CT enough time to get up to here. But I want to see more specifically how it affects the T, like how much they can scale. Starting at 13. So like peeking happens at like 04, so that's 9 seconds, or someone could be pushing on you. And a CT definitely has time to do that. They also definitely have time to like jump up and make it to like, at the very least to here by the time it's a T swings. Maybe with a better CT spawn, whereas T spawn, jump it to here and maybe consider sneaking to the left. They'd be making noise though, that could be heard. Very interesting. Let me throw utility through this. I did not check. I'm going to quickly go into my spawn and buy some stuff. And because this looks like something that's spent out utility drone. Nope. Sometimes they have that with no collisions and just player clip, and so grenades can go through. But alas, not the case. It's just for some natural lighting that gets projected on me here. Very nice. So, those are the timings for the sites. Time to look at mid real quick. 06. Bum 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 bum. So like around 10 seconds in, I'm peeking around here, fighting around here, which is a similar timing to this area of getting to here, right? So in 3 more seconds I'll be here, and that fight in mid happens 3 seconds before disengagement happens. And speaking of disengagement, how long after I show up here? Okay, it takes a while before I can re-site and start peeking actual site. So interesting. So your CTs definitely have a very strong way of holding this. It's just they gotta be mindful about T's leveraging this as an actual route. Long doesn't feel like the main route you want to use. You actually really want to go this upper elevated heaven area. So going back to mid, this took like 10 seconds to even get to here. So this is telling me with certainty that T can drop that ladder, like, and take the slow route. 06. Like, I'm gonna go slow down the ladder. And I can scale my ass up. Okay, yeah, like I can get into a fight with the guys that are coming around here. I could, like, play around this as a piece of cover. And because there's a ledge here, I can stand on it and peek over. And this is elevated. So I could, like, off a guy that's coming here. Yeah. Like, I could easily off a guy coming here. I have time for that. So that is a very aggressive CT side mid. I am not a fan of that. I think that we might want to patch that up. I would make this whole entire planter thing taller. This is just kind of a quick on the fly thing. And then honestly, patch up this angle. Should not exist. This creates like cover for a CT to play as well. It's not inherently bad, and I think it gives, I think you give T's an option to like kind of scale up around this area. I think I want a piece of cover here as well. Fill this in. This shouldn't have a gap. I'm just filling it in for the demonstration purposes. Don't worry too much about the specifics of it. But this gives them a bit more cover as they're coming around it. They take this main fight here, and then they can scale around this. Maybe make this a little taller too than what I had initially shown off. Like I could see this being a bit taller. And it's nice. And you just fight around this, and then over here, I think genuinely we could get away with a box like this next to a box like this, and then I can scale and I can fight. This area would not exist, like this little corner angle. Maybe you could stand all the way in. Nah, not standing all the way in there. It would not. I love building. We ignore the fucked up one. But the point is that you could, create like, it would probably be like a smooth ramp, and then, up here, and then we have this kind of elevated area. It'd be like a staircase to like a larger planter, get rid of the tree. CTs are something to play around that feels like solid cover, so they can rifle instead of just posting with an op on this long angle. And at the same time, a T feels like, hey, maybe I could scale. I think we should be allowed to stand on this ledge for more angles. And I think that something to keep in mind is you can throw utility over this, but what if this was a little lower and this whole entire area was like taller, Like if, how do I phrase? I think it'd be interesting if you could do a boost here, and you could peek over this angle. Not actually jump over or anything, but just have a line of sight to stop some CT side aggression. I think this would lead to a very interesting mid. That isn't very common in a lot of maps. You know, you wouldn't expect something like that. Yeah, a little ramp thing here to get onto a piece of cover that T's can fight around. We got this shit over here. That's just a solid big thing. Kind of, you know, scale up around. This makes mid feel a bit, you know, less empty. CTs don't feel bad about it because they have like, hey, I have something to scale on and play on both sides. But you get rid of this absurd op angle here. I think this fine op angle, this existing is totally fine. Honestly, you could get away with making this a bit wider. And I think this is good. Like you scale around here, and then we have all this cover, and then boom here. So if a CT wanted to op, they still have the timing to get really aggressive and take an off shot like this, but they'd be a lot more exposed. They wouldn't have all this cover. And I guess you could kind of op around this, but if you do, it isn't as strong because of the fact that you can quickly. It's a shorter range angle, so a right fire has a chance. I'm a big fan of this hypothetical set of mid changes. It also makes this rock a more appealing like option to play as a rifler. And yeah, especially having this ledge be accessible, so I can like stand on here and I can peek over. How, you know, part of this box is tall and then part of it isn't. Then they can fight. So I think it leads to a more interesting mid area. Yeah, that's what I'd do. Also, this area just feels like very large. I think I could get away with a couple, you know, adjustments to it in terms of the structure. Just making it so it doesn't feel as empty of a space, and making this, it makes it a bit more congested, which I think is like not terrible in this instance, because as I'm peeking this, it feels like there's a lot of places someone can be. Just eliminating them a bit isn't bad. And I think a similar thing applies to this kind of tiles area, where I'm like, I think that a box here isn't bad because it creates a place for someone to play without being scared about mid. Yeah, it wouldn't be like, it would, you know, be like good instead of like this, but I think there's some potential here to have like a place to play where you're not exposed to mid, and also with this, as you're scaling up, you can be like, you know what, I just want to play behind this full body cover and then peek around, but you also still have this like headshot angle option. I think just giving more options and making mid more interesting is a good idea. I think what I suggested on this site, which is actually a site but be on the minimap, is pretty good. Just creating more places for someone to consider, you know, kind of playing around. Yeah, I think that these are changes that, for, you know, provide value for the majority. Like the majority of these statements I've made provide value to the map. Just adding more cover, giving more options to players to play around and think about, I think is always a good thing, and I think that these changes do that and then some. Let me consider this. Yeah. Now we still have like this little nook angle, right? But it's not as bad as before. And also we can like kind of like play around this, maybe jump peek a little, maybe add some barrels here. I'm so good at making maps worse and pretending that I'm making them better. Yeah, just I want some more cover in a lot of areas, especially middle. I've said all there is and then some on this map. This is probably the longest episode of that meandering, and I really gotta shorten my ramblings. But yeah, that's everything. I hope you enjoyed.